My name is Jonas Novum. I'm currently a sophomore right now, and I'm becoming a junior next year. I was originally from Philippines. I was born and raised there until I was 9. Then I moved here, and we currently live in Britain right now.
Okay.
Well, I have two brothers who are younger than me,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have an older sister, and then my mom and dad. We all live in Britain right now. My sister is in grad school in UW for social work, and my younger brother, he's actually coming to UW next year,
Oh, nice.
and then my
Congratulations.
youngest brother, he's becoming a sixth grader.
Nice.
So, yeah. So I went to elementary school in Catholic school in the Philippines until third grade, and then when I moved here, I went to Sears Elementary School. And for seventh grade, I went to Sylvester and McKnight
Okay.
in Renton. And then during eighth grade, I was in McKnight, and then I moved to Cascade Middle School. And for high school, I went to Evergreen High School, which is in White Center, and I was pretty much there the whole time. And then I went to UW. Well, for me, since I was born and raised in the Philippines, I was very aware of my culture as being Filipino. And being 1.5 generation, I can see a lot of the first generation's views on culture, and as well as second generation's view, which is very important, I think. Especially for first generation parents, I guess. Culture is very important to them because most of them came from where they were born and raised. And second generation, they were raised here, and they were able to assimilate in the beginning since they were young. And so it's a little harder for them to, I guess, learn their culture, because if their parents didn't teach them their culture, then they would only be raised with the American culture since they don't live from where their ethnicity is or where their nationality is. Yeah, I'm an officer for FASA, which is the Filipino American Student Association, and I am actually the Sayaw chair, which is a very important for the Filipino culture. Sayaw means to dance in Tagalog, which is one of the main languages in Philippines. And so basically, I am in charge of teaching traditional Filipino dancing for students in the University of Washington. And my freshman year, I went to the first general meeting for FASA, and it was very fun. It was very welcoming. So when I went to college here and I met a lot of other Filipinos, like that was very culturally shocking, because it's been like 10 years since I've been exposed to that many Filipinos, I guess, in a long time. And it was pretty much just home for me, and so that's why I really like FASA, and which is why I was interested in becoming a FASA officer, because I personally think it did a lot for me as a college student. It helped me a lot on like socially, and also we share our culture. That's very important. I personally believe that as we're moving on to the third generation, fourth generation, more culture is lost, and that's very hard to instill, I guess, some culture to them, because they're still assimilated in American culture. And that's why I think FASA is very important, especially to the Filipino community, because it helps learn more about their culture that they didn't know or prior to them going to college. For me personally, it was because I never thought I was gonna do Sayaw. Like, when I think of culture, I don't necessarily think of dancing. I think of culture, I think of history. I think of like identity workshops, finding out your history, the language, and traditional Filipino dancing as a culture. To me, was never like, it never occurred to me that it was like, it was a way of sharing your culture. And when I joined Sayaw during my freshman year, I learned so much about the Filipino history within the dances, and I thought that was very cool. Like, especially this year we're doing Muslim Suite. It's telling a lot about stories of our past, our history, and like even traditional Filipino dancing itself. It has 4 suites, and that symbolizes like the colonization that has happened to us, which is why we have a Spanish suite, Rural Suite, Mountain Suite, and then Muslim Suite. Like, just knowing those suites, you can already know so much history about it. I think Seattle is very unique in the fact that it's not easy to learn traditional Filipino dancing. If you've ever seen traditional Filipino dancing, there's some crazy stuff going on there.
Yeah.
Like balancing a glass on your head with water and doing some crazy stunts and tricks. And like even Muslim is very physically demanding. And it takes a lot of commitment and effort. And every year, whenever I do see out, I see a lot of commitment from students that that's always good to see. You know, they're committed to go to practice, and we put I like as a director, like we put them in a lot of work and practices, and they still keep coming back. And like that's a beautiful thing to see. You know, like they're learning their culture and they're having fun, and they're committed to it.